Hi, I'm Vinny,
鈴宮
and today I'm going to be talking about my favorite anime. So, I've been watching anime for around a decade now, and I'm at the point where I've built up quite a big back catalog, at least according to my anime list. I've sort of dipped my toe in a variety of genres, and I can't exactly say I have one favorite niche, but if I had to describe my ultimate test tube baby, it'd be somewhere between slice of life, sci-fi, and romance. I actually used to think that slice of life was my favorite genre, but upon further inspection, I'm just a sucker for the calm before the storm. I love watching a quiet day in the club room before the entire world is reconstructed. I love a dinner party in the lab in between the chaos of time travel, the everyday moments in the city while the underground gangs are not trying to kill each other. It's like that feeling of something around the corner makes these moments all the more special. So it's probably not a big surprise that my favorite anime of all time is Steins Gate. I already glazed this show in my last video, but seriously, Steins Gate is the pinnacle of anime for me. I watched this show in my second year of high school, and for a month, all I did after I came home was put this on, lock in, and get emotionally wrecked. It's about an 18-year-old mad scientist named Okabe who ends up, against all odds, making a machine that can transport memories back in time. Needless to say, this creates a wonderful time-tangled mess, and he has to do everything in his power to untangle it. The show explores the interesting dilemmas that come with time travel, because it's never as simple as just changing one thing. Even the tiniest deviation could mean literal life or death for someone close to you. That's the butterfly effect for ya. With this immense pressure, we get to follow Okabe as he crashes out when he realizes just how delicate time truly is. Premise aside, this show is really made special by its amazing cast of characters. A tsundere prodigy researcher, a whimsical childhood friend, an otaku nerd, a sensitive beauty, a mysterious part-timer who knows too much. These characters develop so much throughout the show, you really get to see who they are beyond the tropes. And Steins Gate is a great example of what I was talking about earlier, the suspension of chaos. Cause up until halfway through the first season, it's very pseudo slice of life. But when shit hits the fan, it hits hard. Trust me, you gotta stick with this one. The next anime I want to talk about is the legendary Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. The first time I watched this was back in 2020 while I was stuck at home with a broken sleep schedule and a shit ton of free time. It's been a while and I actually just rewatched this in light of its 20th anniversary, so it's still fresh in my mind. I feel like Haruhi is in a weird place, legacy-wise, because in many ways it was the bridge between the old and the new. It was huge back in the day, but I think it flies under the radar of many newer anime fans. I mean, I didn't give it a chance until a friend sang its praises like more than a decade after it aired. On the surface, it kinda just looks like a typical anime about high school shenanigans, but let me fill you in. This girl's a time traveler, this girl's a supercomputer, this guy's a psychic, this guy, he's normal, and this girl, well, she's God. Needless to say, a lot of the things that happen here are anything but normal, but it's all spliced between the otherwise unremarkable lives of these teenagers. Watching this feels like constant whiplash, cause one episode we're playing in the neighborhood baseball tournament, and the next we're in an alternate reality fighting off a giant cave cricket. Range, y'all. Range. There's also some weird lore outside the show itself. First of all, there are two ways to watch this: broadcast order and chronological order. Turns out the episodes of Haruhi were originally broadcast out of order, for shits and giggles. Okay, not really. Supposedly, the reordering gave the show better pacing, pushing the big climax towards the end of season 1. And you'll also get these aha moments when you learn the context for events you already saw happen. Allegedly, cause I could not be bothered and instead opted for the chronological order, where all the episodes line up with the manga and everything plays out beautifully. And how could I forget the infamous incident known as the Endless 8? Believe it or not, in the second season of Haruhi, the same episode was broadcast 8 times over. Am I the only one that finds this insanely hilarious? Like, imagine waiting patiently for the new episode of your favorite show, only to witness the same events play out for 2 months. People were pissed. Now, to say that these 8 episodes were the exact same would actually be a disservice, cause every scene was completely reanimated and dubbed over. There's these little variations in the settings, the outfits, and the subtle ways that characters say their dialogue that are pretty neat to notice. Don't crucify me, I really enjoyed this arc. I mean, granted, I didn't have to painstakingly wait weeks for it to run its course, but I got some respect for the team for actually taking a creative risk. It also helps tremendously that they basically regained all that lost goodwill by coming out with a banger movie 2 years later. Still waiting on that season 3 though. Still waiting. In 2021, I was going through a rough patch during my second year of college, and there was a time when I basically did not leave my room unless I absolutely had to. During this time, besides playing the god-awful Pokemon remakes that came out, I decided to watch Sunny Boy, one of the weirdest anime I've ever had the pleasure of consuming. And somehow, this show gave me hope. It starts with a group of students getting shifted to an alternate world where all the laws of physics from reality are thrown out the window. Left to their own devices, they essentially get to build a brand new world while finding some sort of meaning in their new existence. So many wacky ideas are brought to life in this show. One could argue maybe too many, but part of the charm is not knowing what the fuck is going on half the time. A lot of the events here are actually used to explore social themes rooted in reality. Religion, political ideologies, war, they're all here. And looking back, many episodes are a clever commentary on the modern world. That being said, there's another string that connects this all together. At its heart, Sunny Boy is a story about growing up. The conflict between childlike wonder and the harsh realities of the real world. Some choose to accept change for what it is, some choose to protect their light until the very end, and others choose to wander this gray area in between, searching for something new. As for me, well, I ended up bawling my eyes out after the final episode as soon as I heard the acoustic ending song. In that moment, it felt like reality hit like a truck, and the show's had a special place in my heart ever since. Fast forward a couple years, I was working in the city and running on basically fumes, commuting back and forth between the suburbs. Needless to say, I was in the mood to watch a depressing show, and well, I found one, called Welcome to the NHK. Here's a 22-year-old by the name of Sato who refuses to interact with the outside world. He is a hikikomori. Going on his 4th year of unemployment, Sato's coping mechanism is believing that everything wrong with his life is actually a result of some greater conspiracy, known as the NHK. Misaki, the manic pixie dream girl of this story, aims to help Sato overcome his destructive tendencies by coaxing him out of his room and teaching him how to be a normal human again. Well, that would be nice if not for the fact that Misaki is deeply troubled herself, and her goodwill, well, it doesn't always come from a good place. I mean it when I say that the characters in this show go through the psychological ringer, with the aftermath laid bare for us to watch. It's not a light show by any means, but it is very real. It unabashedly explores depression, self-exit, anxiety, trauma, and isolation. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, it somehow does, by tenfold. Watching this almost felt cathartic to me, cause Sato was like a hyper-realization of everything I was suppressing. All these negative thoughts I felt ashamed to have and wouldn't share with a soul, he was actively living and battling through them. And it made me a lot more sympathetic towards anyone in real life suffering from the same things. It's genuinely a lot more complicated than just one day deciding, real world, bad. Still, as bleak as this show gets, it does have its glimmers of hope, and against all odds, the characters do make an effort to work on breaking out of their toxic cycles. It just doesn't quite play out like a fairy tale. In 2024, I just graduated college and was in a state of limbo. I wanted to watch something that had characters in the same age group as me, just figuring it out. Enter Nana. Now, this is a beast of an anime with a whopping 47 episodes, but I love long animes, so this was a treat for me. It's a story about two 20-year-olds, both named Nana. Nana Komatsu is the more naive and optimistic one, while Nana Osaki is more independent and strong-willed. Nana K moves to Tokyo to be with her boyfriend, while Nana O moves to Tokyo to become a famous singer. By the magic of fate, the two end up rooming together in the same apartment. They're just roommates though, I swear. From there, we follow the two through the ultimate whirlwind of drama as they navigate their new lives in the city. And so begins the process of figuring out if it's possible to balance love, dreams, money, and friendship, all while keeping your soul in one piece. Being in the early 20s, the cast still holds a lot of that naivete from childhood, but are forced to grow through the many life-changing conflicts and realizations that occur. In hindsight, a good chunk of their turmoil probably could have been solved or at least softened with just talking it out. Communication, who would have thunk? But I'll be damned, I could not look away from this car crash. Despite it all, it was still a great show and very relatable. I saw a bit of myself in every character. Fuck Takumi though. Hate this guy. I remember seeing the trailer for this next one on YouTube early last year, and from this 1-minute clip, I knew I had to watch it. What would you do if your best friend, who you thought was dead, came back to life? But wait, your best friend is actually not your best friend anymore. They're a monster. The summer Hikaru died. Hikaru, who really should be resting in his grave, is taken over by an otherworldly parasite. To the outside world, everything is normal. I mean, he looks and acts basically the same as before, but to Yoshiki, Hikaru's BFF, nothing is the same. Yoshiki notices immediately that this is not Hikaru, and whatever this is, it's definitely not human. Over the course of these episodes, Yoshiki goes through the 5 stages of grief, while Hikaru 2.0 tries his best to earn his trust again. Honestly, these two are the textbook definition for toxic relationship. But God, I couldn't help but root for them. The situation is so fucked that there's really no clear right or wrong, and watching the characters go through these incredibly difficult moral dilemmas is heartbreaking. Like, the knife scene, if you know, you know. And not to mention, the animation here is one of the most beautiful I've ever seen. Insanely high quality, especially during Hikaru's crash outs where everything is horrifically detailed. And I really love how they managed to blend more realistic assets with the traditional 2D art style. It really adds to the amazing atmosphere and world building. I love me a good summer mystery, and this was the perfect one to cap off mine last year. Well, thanks for listening to me yap your ear off again. This is just the tip of the iceberg of my anime history book, but these ones are definitely somewhere near the top. I feel like the anime I enjoy the most always leaves me feeling different than before I watch them. I've got something along the lines of a hyper imagination, and I often put myself in the shoes of these characters and wonder, what would I do? How would I feel? And why am I so invested? By the end of a great anime, I often have a few more angles of looking at things in my own life, and it's been a huge source of comfort over the past decade. So here's to the next one. Peace and love, Vinny.